Welcome to Concept Conspiracies, the miniseries on trans theories where we take a look at a concept art and we evaluate it. Today's concept art that we're going to be taking a look at is what I like to call the Rampage King. And the reason why I like to call this the Rampage King is because look at the size of Rampage. Look how big he is compared to that truck. He would never be that big in robot mode. The only way he could have been that big in robot mode if he scanned the world's largest bulldozer. And if he was the world's largest bulldozer, that would just be amazing. Seeing him hop on the street, crushing cars, and like maybe hopping into houses and breaking them. I think that would be pretty cool to see a Rampage. And maybe he would have been the new Demolisher, but hey, this thing looks freaking amazing. Look how big he is. I know I said that before, but this guy, taking all the glory. You may think this looks a lot like Rampage, but we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison with the current version of Rampage that we saw in the movie. So besides of the scale error, I want to point out is he has a 64-X on his arm, which means he's a different type of bulldozer, and his tail definitely looks a lot different because we saw Skipjack's tail and had like all those different types of lines, but this one kind of looks like a jackhammer. And it reminds me a lot more of actually the toy that we got from the Revenge of the Fallen toy line. Now the last thing I want to point out about Rampage is he does look a lot more slimmed down, and Skipjack, because he shared the exact same CGI model as Rampage, Skipjack looked a lot more bulkier and had more parts, but this one looks a lot more refined. So now let's go look at the side-by-side comparison. Now looking at these two side-by-side, there is a huge difference. Number one, that truck is gone, of course. And number two, look how much more bulk that Rampage now has in his current version. Now let's go point out the obvious. He has a better looking tail than the other one, and it looks more like, I don't know how you would call it, like a drill, and the other one over there looks more like a jackhammer. His hands are different. Now he has like more of a spiky spike instead of like a shovel-like hand. He also has a longer neck, and that's what Skipjack also had in the film. He also has those spikes that come out of his back. Now I do not know if that's 100% accurate. I have to look again, but I believe that's pretty accurate. His whips are now gray instead of that weird yellow color that I forgot to point out while looking at that Rampage. And the last thing that I want to point about the side-by-side comparison is that the Rampage on the left has a bit of a different dirt pattern as you see on the ground than the one on the right. So I want to hear in the comments, and you can use a poll above, which Rampage looks better, the one on the left or the one on the right. Personally, I like the one that's on the right. Well, that's all for this episode of Concept Conspiracies. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you're new. If you have a concept art that you want me to cover, tell me the name of it and I'll search it up and I'll eventually do a video on it. Well, this has been Trans Theories, signing off.
When you're caught within the grip of the evil Megatron Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in disguise.